Whether you're traveling by land, sea, or air, you may not realize it, but you're probably relying more and more on global positioning satellites for your data collection and use. Well, joining me in the studio today is Eitan Livne, the CEO of Orbit Technologies, which for the past 20 years has been leading the way in satellite communications technology. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you very much for having me.
So let's begin. What exactly does Orbit do? Break it down for those of us who know nothing about this satellite world.
So actually, when you speak about satellite communication, there is the space segment and there is the other side, which is the ground segment. The ground part of the communication, whether it's on ship, the ground itself, or on the plane or a train these days. So we are in that part, we are supplying the ground terminals and we are connected between the satellite itself to the users on ground. We started, as you mentioned, over 20 years ago, mainly on the maritime part. We were specialized on stabilized.
Now, who are your clients, though? I mean, it's not just individuals who want to go onto the computer,
no.
Right? You're working with bigger companies.
We work with bigger companies. Back then, we started with the maritime systems, and we supply different commercial ships or shipyards and navies in the world. Mm-hmm. Then different airplane manufacturers and airplane operators.
Now, when you're talking about what you actually supplied them with was communications, ability to use things like Wi-Fi or data, correct?
Yeah, we supply the terminal that helps the communication between the space S segment, the satellite, and the users on board or that platform on the move.
This is so important because this is the means through which people who are in the middle of the sea, or I guess flying in the air, are able to kind of connect with the outside world, right? So this is a big deal. Now, tell us a little bit about how satellite communications as a whole have changed in the past couple of years.
The world of satellite is undergoing change, where there are building now big constellations of LEO, low Earth orbit and medium Earth orbit, which are much closer to Earth, and they are moving as well, because when you are far away in a geostationary satellites, the satellite is fixed to the ground, and where there is a lower Earth orbit, then the orbit is moving as well, and you have to follow after a moving target, let's call it. So you need to have a very accurate antenna, very accurate terminal that can follow after the satellite as well. You are on the move and the satellite is on the move. So that is our expertise.
Interesting. Now tell us a little bit about what Earth observations are. This is something I know nothing about, so I kind of want you to tell us what that means.
Okay. Earth observation is another segment of the world of satellites. The people in the world are interested to learn more about Earth. And in order to do that, they use satellites, not for communication, as you mentioned earlier, but to watch what's going on ground. They want to know
Google Maps, for example.
Maps. Right. You want to know about the weather. You want to know about geological phenomena. You want to go about agriculture. You help the well-being of the people by watching about what's going on in
the environment.
The environment. Yeah. And the satellite take the picture with every kind of sensor you use, and then while he over the ground segment, orbit ground segment, we call it Gaia, that's the name we gave it, it shoot down, or it transmit, the satellite transmit, and we collect the data, and then we transmit it back to the processors and the users.
So interesting. So you're not only providing a communication outlet for companies, you're also providing data collection.
Yeah.
And who are some of those clients? I imagine are environmental.
Universities, research organization, national organization that follow Earth, intelligence users, every kind of user you can imagine that needs information about what's going on in the Earth, looking from high above.
Right, because this can provide so much information for research on potential, environmental changes that are going to take place in the future.
Yeah, in these days you can see and hear about students in high school even, not in university or in Technion, but universities, Technion, university in the world, national kind of space agencies. Everybody that looks on the Earth, on the oceans, and need to collect the data from orbit of satellites, that is kind of our customers.
Well, it's very, very interesting. I mean, I know that back in the day when satellites were being used more primarily for taking images and Google Maps and things like that, I used to look and be able to see, you can see my house in those pictures. Those, you know, there's very real applications to satellite use for, you know, people just like you and me. But it seems like you guys have really found a way to kind of use satellites in a positive way for, you know, major companies around the world. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you very much.